Ms. James, thank you for coming in to meet with me today.
Thank you.
All right, I know I indicated in my email invitation that I wanted to meet with you about your level 1 grievance. I received it yesterday afternoon, and I understand that you left it in my office. And as part of the grievance policy, we do have to conduct a level 1 grievance hearing, and that's why I wanted to meet with you this afternoon, so that we can get the ball rolling on investigating your concerns that you've outlined in your grievance.
Okay.
If it's all right with you, I do want to have a conversation about some of the formalities surrounding the complaints and grievance policy. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
All right. So I don't know if you've had the opportunity to look through policy GAE and the accompanying procedure, but I have printed out a copy of that, and I'd like for you to have that just for your record, as well as to look at, as we're talking about timelines or any questions that you might have about the grievance policy or procedures today.
Well, I looked over on it.
Oh, you did?
I did.
All right, well, perfect. I do also want to let you know, I have a recorder here. We have not started recording, but policy GAE does require that this be a recorded meeting, and you are welcome to record if you want to. You don't have to, but if that's something that you're comfortable with, you're welcome to do that as well.
No, I don't feel like I need to report it.
Okay. All right, well, if that is what you're comfortable doing, I'm going to go ahead and start recording the meeting. One thing I do want to let you know before I start is that I do have some scripted questions prepared, and I don't want you to feel uncomfortable when I ask you and read through some of those. I simply prepared them just to help me organize my thoughts and make sure that I get all the information that I need from you.
Okay.
All right, it is April 1st, 2019, and it's 1:08 p.m. My name is Carrie Parker, and I am the principal at Triple Creek Middle School. And I'm here with Miss Betty James, who has filed a level 1 grievance. Is this accurate information, Miss James?
Yes, it is.
All right. I do want to remind you that this conversation is being recorded, and that's part of the grievance policy here. And I also want to refer to the paperwork that you have in front of you and remind you that I've provided you a copy of the complaints and grievance paperwork. So if you have any questions along the way, you can refer to the paperwork and we'll go through that together. All right. And I have a copy of your level 1 grievance paperwork here. And before we go through that, I do want to remind you this conversation is confidential. Do you have any questions about that piece?
Can you be a little bit more specific about the confidentiality? What do you mean by that? I don't want my teammates to know, so it's a little bit embarrassing.
And I can understand that. So when I say that this process is confidential, what I mean is that we communicate any information about your concerns or the fact that you filed a grievance. We only communicate that to individuals who have to know. So when we're investigating your concerns, it's possible that I will need to conduct interviews with some of your coworkers, and I might need to communicate some of your concerns. And if it's possible to redact or leave out your identity or information that relates to you, I will do my best to do that. But otherwise, it's confidential. Anyone who I speak with cannot speak about it outside of an interview that I have with them. And if you do hear people talking about it, you need to let me know, because that's something that I will need to address.
In that case, I guess that's fine, as long as nobody's allowed to talk about it.
And do you understand that you're protected from retaliation?
Yes, I do.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your grievance paperwork. Now, you listed as the date presented March 30th, 2019, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, Ms. James, can you explain to me why you have filed this grievance?
Well, I filed a grievance because I feel like I've been treated unfairly by my assistant principal. I've been at this school for 5 years, and not once before he became an assistant principal have I ever received a needs development. And it seems like now I've gotten several needs developments in communication and professionalism. And, you know, like I said, I've been here 5 years and that's never happened. And I feel like,
So you just feel that he has given you unfair evaluations and professionalism?
I do. I've been here 5 years. Tell me when you've ever known me to have needs developments in any areas.
So you're saying that you feel that you have never had needs developments in any areas, and those are unfair coming from Mr. White?
I do.
Okay. Now, one thing I do want to make clear is that under the policy, you cannot grieve personnel evaluations. You can't grieve, the decision to terminate a contract. You can't grieve professional development plans, those types of things. But what I hear you saying is that you feel that you have been treated unfairly from some of the information that is in your grievance paperwork, where it says reference or describe statutes, policies, rules, regulations, or written agreements alleged to have been violated or misapplied. You reference non-discrimination laws. Can you expand on that?
Well, I feel like I'm being discriminated against, and that's why he's treating me that way.
On what basis do you think that Mr. White is discriminating against you?
Race.
Race?
My entire grade level team is white, and I'm the only one being treated this way.
Have you ever heard him make any disparaging remarks about people of a particular race?
I mean, everyone talks about how great he is, I had one of my teammates talk about how she has exemplary on her evaluations, and how she's grown, but she's always struggled in the classroom. And Pam says he's always dropping by when he's in the hallway and to see how she's doing.
Okay, now you mentioned that he always stops by Pam's room to see how she's doing. What's the name of the employee that you said has recently received exemplaries and has always struggled?
Tyler.
Tyler? Okay. So you have seen him treat, what I hear you saying is you feel he treats Pam and Tyler more favorably than you?
Yes.
What about how does he treat other colleagues besides Pam and Tyler in comparison to you?
Well, Kim, on the other hand, I've never seen, him treat her any differently than just being nicer in general, like he is to everyone else but me. And he's very chummy with Misty.
Okay. Now, one thing that I've noticed so far is that you feel that he is nicer to everyone else but you. Can you give me an example of a way that he has not been nice to you?
Well, last Friday is a great example. Before a team meeting, he kept talking to Tyler about football. They were laughing and joking. I heard them say that maybe they could meet at a Georgia game, since they both have tickets.
When did you start to feel that Mr. White was treating you differently because of race?
If it's okay, I would like to refer to notes that I brought.
That's perfectly fine. One thing that I asked him, if you're not comfortable, that's okay. But could I make a copy of those notes for my investigation file after this meeting?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
So it was in the start of the first semester. I always knew I was the non-white person on our team, but it never occurred to me that it was race until he made some rude remarks to me at that January grade level planning meeting.
Now, Ms. James, do you remember the date of that meeting?
It was mid-January, maybe the 20th. I can look at my calendar and let you know.
Okay, and if you'll just email me that'd be great. All right, so you mentioned that he was rude to you during that grade level planning meeting. What did Mr. White do that you felt was offensive?
Well, we were discussing incentives, and rewards for our students. As we were approaching the end of the testing season. And everyone was throwing out ideas, and I would throw out ideas like everyone else, and it's like he quickly just shut them down. And I got frustrated and finally said that I felt he kept disregarding my suggestions. And he said, and I quote, I'm not ignoring your comments. I just think that everyone's on the same page but you. Your ideas would only appeal to a minority of our students. This isn't a very diverse school, Miss James. I felt he was linking me to the minority student population.
Ms. James, who was present during that meeting?
Everyone in Team A, Team B, except for Miss Howell. I think she was on leave.
Okay. Did you ever, you mentioned this is the first incident that you really connected with race, correct?
Yes.
Did you, and have you confided with anyone about your concerns with Mr. Lloyd?
I spoke with Dr. Maresh just because he supervised me the last few years, and I wanted his take on where this was coming from.
All right, Ms. James, when did you speak to Dr. Maresh, and what was Dr. Maresh's response?
I spoke with him maybe December. I know it was shortly after my mid-year and before the holiday break.
Okay.
When I spoke with him, he was very surprised, didn't have any of those issues with me before.
Now, have you followed up with Dr. Maresh since you spoke with him in December?
No, I didn't.
One thing I want to ask you before we wrap up the hearing is I want to ask if there's anything else you can think of that might be helpful for me to know as I investigate your concerns. Are there any other incidents you can think of?
I did forget to mention one thing, discipline situations. My fourth block has some high flyers, and there are two students in particular who are very disruptive. I've had to call for an administrator probably like 3 times this school year. Every time he's come, he seems inconvenienced. The last time I buzzed him and he came to my room, he said, "Gee, don't you think you're being a little bit over dramatic? I get more calls from you than any other teachers."
He said that he gets more calls from you than any other teachers?
Yes.
Do you remember when this most recent situation occurred?
It was last month.
And what was the name of the student involved in that situation?
Marcus Hayes.
Unless there's anything else that you have for me, I think that I have enough information to go ahead and investigate. If I do have follow-up questions, I might reach out to you and either send you an email or have you come to my office just to get any clarifying information that I need to investigate. Now, under the grievance policy, I have 10 days from the point of receiving the paperwork to conduct an investigation and communicate a decision. I have to look at my calendar and see when we can schedule a follow-up hearing. In that 10 days, it does not include weekends or holidays, so it'll be 10 work days. It looks like the 15th is going to be the 10th day.
Okay.
So what I want to go ahead and do is I want to put that on the calendar for us to meet and go over the findings. If for some reason I realize that the investigation is going more quickly than I realized, I'll schedule a time for us to meet earlier than that. But how is 3 o'clock on the 15th work for you?
I think that's fine.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an invitation through Lotus Notes, and that will be the date that we plan to meet and discuss those findings.
Okay.
Alright, thank you so much for meeting with me, and I will be in touch.
Thank you.